Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We'll give everyone a minute to join before we begin. And as we are waiting, feel free to add where you're joining from in the chat here. We have Sherman from Surrey. As you're joining, feel free to go ahead and add where you're from. We have Deb from Niagara, Ontario. We have Kenneth from Pittsfield, Andre from North Carolina, Salisbury, James from Miami, some San Diego's, New York City, Montreal. Nice to see people from everywhere. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you so much for being here today. And we have an exciting session lined up with our 3 incredible subcontractor customers who will share how they have been using Fieldwire to transform their workflows. For those who are new here, my name is Pranati Gompa, and I am a program manager here at Fieldwire, and I'm really thrilled to host this session today. Before we begin, I would like to address a few housekeeping items. To ensure a smooth session, attendees will be muted, but please don't hesitate to ask any questions you guys may have in the Q&A panel. We will have a Q&A session at the end of this presentation, and we will do our best to address as many questions as we can. And for the questions we don't get to, our experts will reach out to you directly. We also have some poll questions during the webinar for you to participate in, so please feel free to select your answer when these questions pop up. Additionally, at the end, we have a short 5-question survey, which we would really appreciate if you could fill it out. And this survey helps us to determine the usefulness of the content we deliver and also helps us to plan for our future webinars. Let's take a quick look at our agenda. We'll today start with our introductions from our panelists, and then we'll go into a discussion on why they chose Fieldwire, their use cases, their adoption journeys, and maybe some fun and interesting highlights of their experiences. And then finally, we'll do a Q&A session to wrap things up. So before we begin, I have a couple of poll questions for you to learn a little bit more about yourselves. Let me go ahead and launch the first question here. Feel free to select the answer that makes sense. What type of company do you work for? Just a quick selection. Awesome. We have a lot of votes in. Let's go ahead and close this. I have another question for you guys and just want to understand what is your role within your company. If you're a PM, a project coordinator, or a project engineer, superintendent, project executive, or others. Awesome. Thank you for all those answers here. Let's go ahead and let's meet our panelists now. Today we have with us Mark Brumba from Electriforce, Ray Griffiths from JSC Systems, and Ian Harrell from Rolling Plains. Welcome to the panel, guests. And could each one of you briefly introduce yourself, mentioning your role, the company you represent, and how long have you been using Fieldwire? Maybe let's go ahead and get started with Mark.
Yep, my name is Mark Brumbaugh. I'm the operations manager here at Electroforce, based out of North Carolina. And we've been using Fieldwire a little over a year.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Ray, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Ray Griffiths. I'm the project manager for JFC Systems. I actually started using Fieldwire on my own as a technician probably 5 years ago. And when I became a project manager, it had so many positives that we ended up implementing it company-wide for the past year or so.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ray. Ian.
Yes, my name is Ian Harrell. I'm project manager for Rolling Plains Construction Southeast Division. Rolling Plains has been using Fieldwire for some time, but kind of got off of it, and I was aware of the product, and so I implemented it in our Southeast Division and been using it for about 6 months.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. Also, thank you all of you for those introductions. And maybe let's talk a little bit about what led you to using Fieldwire. Ray, you've mentioned that you have been using it for 5 years and then you implemented it across JSC. How have you what has clicked with you so much that you wanted to implement it across JSC?
Really, it's kind of the cloud platform where you can get an overhead view of the project at any given point, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on your computer, your tablet, if you're in the office, if you're on a job site. It's been great. When I was a technician, I was a foreman, I had a crew of probably 19, and it was a lot easier than calling and text messaging, telling everybody what their tasks were. It was real simple just to preload all the tasks the previous morning. You know, this is the task that goes to which crew, and let them go at it, and I can check on them throughout the day, just pulling up my phone, seeing the progress.
Awesome. Ian, you have also been using Fieldwire for about a year now, 8 to 10 months.
6 months, yeah.
6 months, yeah. What improvements have you noticed within your own crew and how the work has been getting done before and after?
Well, the biggest thing is for us, we have shop drawings that are essentially a legend for our crews. We spray fireproofing on steel, and so we would provide a PDF in an email to our team, and they would work off of that. And you know, if someone was savvy enough, they might give us a markup on that PDF and send it back. But you know, having a foreman having to dig through an email and work off that PDF and or whatever, it's not as user friendly as being able to offer them, you know, an app in a cloud-based system where they can access the drawing and make edits and markups in real time that is visible to the office, maybe attach notes or photos and stuff like that. So to be able to streamline and simplify the process of communicating the progress on as it pertains to the shop drawing from the field to the office has been extremely valuable for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. Mark, you're also a new customer, right? So could you share your initial impressions of Fieldwire and what key factors influenced your decision to adopt the platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I think right off the bat, with our trial going through it, a lot of it was the ease of use. I mean, having a system that, you know, I kind of define it, electricians, their Indian name is types with fist. So having a system that is very user friendly and easy to use made the transition and the ability to have the team get on it very, very, very easy. And then I think the task management and the ability to attach checklists that you can confirm that the information that you need to have done for those tasks is done and have it communicated with the team back to the field office via the tablet, computer, or phone is just vital information.
Awesome. That's so true. Switching the gears a little bit here, one thing we know is adoption is really crucial when it comes to like new software implementations, especially in construction, right? Because not everyone's exposed to so much software before. So I'll start with Ian here. Ian, we've onboarded your crew together, and it's been amazing onboarding with you, working with you there. How has the process been for you to get the team running up and running and then improving those processes?
It's honestly been really simple because what we're using the software for is, you know, it's we're not there's a whole bunch of features that are available with Fieldwire, and we're kind of utilizing it at a base level right now, which is just the back and forth markups on shop drawings. So, I mean, it's as simple as spending 20 minutes with the foreman just to get them up to speed on how to use the features of the markups and you know, show them how easy it is to access the drawings and you know, ask questions or attach photos to the work they're doing. Yeah, so getting a new user up to speed is extremely quick process for us right now.
That's awesome. That's really nice to hear. Mark, you have been working with Hannelore for a while. Since the onboarding, can you maybe go a little bit over how your onboarding process has been? How did Hannelore help you come up with all these different use cases and trainings and stuff like that?
Yeah, the onboarding was great. It was actually really easy. Several meetings before we actually, turned it on and did the field implementation. But the entire Fieldwire team with Hannelore leading the charge, she was great at documenting, kind of, identifying what we were trying to achieve, setting up multiple meetings, and then, really deriving and making sure that we were getting and achieving the deliverables after each meeting. And then at the following meeting, make sure that we were still on point and checking. It was honestly, we had an aggressive schedule to do it. I think we did it in about right around 2 months, full implementation. And I can honestly tell you that if I didn't have the Fieldwire team assisting us and kind of guiding us through this, we would have never made it.
Thank you so much for saying that, and that's really good to hear. Ray, you have been working with Arnav for a while as well. Could you talk a little bit more about that and how onboarding your crew has been, or your experience with it?
Arnaud has been, he's been a team member. I mean, I can call him at any point with a question, a comment, a feature update that I want, and he's just a phone call away. I mean, it's not, I'm not dialing into a call center. I'm calling Arnaud. Implementing across the technicians, it's simple. I mean, they like not having to go see a paper set of prints on the other side of the building. They love that I can tell them, hey, go to task 249. That's the one I'm talking about, and they can instantly pull it up. They really do enjoy using it, and it's fairly simple. It's a very complicated system, but it's very simple to use.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think another thing, one of the unique aspects, especially with Fieldwire, is how adaptable it is to like different use cases, right? I'm sure all of you are using it. Some parts are similar, some parts is different, and you're using it as it makes sense for your own businesses. Could you maybe like walk us through your use case and specific values you're getting? Feel free to let me know if you want to share your screen, but maybe Ray, do you want to kick us through your use case?
I have customized everything I can possibly think of to make this Fieldwire even more streamlined for me and the technicians. One thing as a project manager, there are so many times I'm driving down the road, I'm in a meeting, a technician will call me, I need this. Can you look into this? I'll tell them, text me or send me an email. Or with Fieldwire, it's so much easier. What I've personally used to organize my task is the Fieldwire task. We have to do, in progress, complete, but there's also a task for project manager. So anytime they have something they need from me, they drop a task into the project management category, and I can pull it up and see what I need to do. So there's nothing that slips through the cracks. That's something that's helped me out tremendously.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's actually a very good use case. I haven't seen a lot of people use project management or a project manager as a status on tasks before, but that's really a good use case and making sure nothing slips through the cracks. Mark, would you want to go ahead and talk about how your company is using it?
Yeah, I think for our use case, we're using it for field document control. A lot of times in our industry, we get ASIs or revisions to the drawings, and having that to be able to upload and push to our field crews is crucial, just because we can stay ahead of the changes, and then them to have the ability to ask questions and screenshot via the RFI system. That anything they don't understand, we get good clarity very quickly. It doesn't take any time, and all the right people are notified to make sure that the right decision and correct decision is made before we move forward.
That's awesome. Ian, what's your primary use case, and how does that enhance your operations?
Primary use case is just markups from the field to the office to show us the progress of the project and the progress of completion, and it kind of acts as an as-built in the end to show what was sprayed where and what days, and we can correspond that to things like daily reports and kind of just back up our work if needed, and provide an accurate timeline of the work that was completed that can be seen and tracked daily, in real time. So that's been the pretty much primary use case, but extremely valuable one.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your use cases, everyone. And again, let's talk a little bit more about maybe some memorable experiences that you guys have, something that stood out after you started using, or a story that's related to you with Fieldwire. Let's kick it off with you, Mark.
I can say we've had several occasions where the contract documents conflicted, or I should say the site conditions conflicted with what the documents were indicating. Our technician or field foreman were able to identify it with a picture, send it in specifically with a question RFI back to our team. We can look at it. The nice thing of that is all too often decisions are made in the field without proper information. And what we've noticed is it's allowed us to be a lot more proactive rather than reactive. Either stall work where we got to pull out of somewhere and not complete the work, or the work's installed incorrectly and then we got to go back and fix it. So we've identified that the experience using Fieldwire and the ability to connect everybody with information and through the technology has really made us more efficient and productive in the field.
Awesome. Ray, would you want to share your memorable experience?
I think one of the turning points that the company used as a deciding factor to go with Fieldwire is I was using it on my projects only. With my license, we were subcontracted. We had a general contractor contact my contractor, my client, and let them know we were only 9% done when we were supposed to be 64% done. It took me all of 7 minutes to pull up a report on Fieldwire that had photo documentations, task list. I sent it right back. I said, hey, according to this, I'm 92% done. I mean, we're beyond schedule at this point. So please let me know where your concerns are coming from. I'll address them. But it was a very quick, hey, I've got documentation. We're good to go.
That's really interesting. That's really nice. Ian, what's a good memorable experience for you?
I think the ability to, because what happens with us a lot is changes are made on the fly to drawings, right? There's architectural updates that happen, and some new steel is added, or maybe the material required for different areas of the building are changed. And so when these changes happen, our drawings have to change. And so instead of having to reissue an entirely new file, we can actually just swap out pages from the drawing individually and kind of just make those updates per that page, and that happens in real time. So the field foreman is never going to actually have the wrong drawing at any time, as long as we're on top of that. He's always going to have the most up-to-date set of drawings or shop drawings. So the times that happens, the times that has happened has been a seamless process, instead of us kind of being behind the 8 ball in the past, where we're sending the update once that issue kind of comes up, now we have a process to be able to just immediately make those updates in real time.
That's awesome. That's kind of like a lot of questions that I've planned. I have another round of questions for you all, but for everyone, feel free to add any questions you might have for our panelists in the Q&A panel on the right. We will get into the Q&A in a little second here. So I want you guys to go around the room and talk about your most favorite feature within Fieldwire, and maybe like when you've discovered it, or how long have you been using that feature? Let's start with you, Ian.
I mean, I feel like we've covered a lot of what I use it for, because it's like I mean, my favorite feature would be the just the ability to make these markups and attach these photos and raise these issues and communicate in real time with the field. So that's my favorite thing, is that field communications are no longer hindered by you know, the delays that happen with email and phone calls. It's if I need to know what's going on the project, I go look at Fieldwire. It's up to date based on, you know, the input from the field. So it's just much more seamless, much faster.
Got it. So like more of field communications and like having the plans in there.
Yeah.
Ray, what's your favorite module or feature of Fieldwire?
I call them Easter eggs, because they are the intro features that I completely overlooked. I added about, I don't know, 8,000 tasks to a project and accidentally deleted them. I called Arnaud. I said, hey, I had this issue. Yeah, I deleted tasks by accident. He said, oh, they're still, you can still restore them. They're right here. He showed me, and I said, are you kidding me? I have all these complicated things that I'm doing with Fieldwire, and I don't know how to restore tasks. So adding that many tasks, I'm a big fan of the import tool. So I add tasks in an Excel spreadsheet and then copy and paste in the import tool. It goes like that.
Perfect, perfect. I think delete feature, or like that little trash bin, is one of the features people discover quite late. And it's really a like lifesaver, you know, when you accidentally delete stuff, it still exists within Fieldwire for 30 days. You can always go back and recover it.
And it's not even that. I mean, there's other small things. I mean, the fact that if I'm on the task list, I can shift click a second task and it will highlight all of them.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've gone through and clicked every single task, not knowing, oh my goodness, you know, it's the little features like that that I discover later on that are just, I mean, as small as they are, they're invaluable.
True, true. That's so true. Yeah. Like small lifetime savers, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Mark, what's your favorite feature?
I think my favorite feature of the system is the tasks, the different views you have looking at them. I mean, you know, normal ones that I've used in the past, other systems, you get the task view where you understand what's overdue, what's due, what's completed, you know, what's scheduled, so forth. But in how Fieldwire fashions it, you have that view, but then you can quickly click it over to a calendar view, which gives you a great synopsis and look and say, oh, you start looking at that calendar, go, well, that's not going to line up that way. And the ability to drag and drop those things and the information change, so you don't have to go back and retype a date, is just invaluable. And then flip it again, and it gives you a man loading chart, which I've never seen a system do that. I can look at the thing, and if all the man hours are in there correctly, I can look and say, look, we're projecting a 16-man crew on this job, but we got 12. How are we going to do this? And you can go back, refresh, and figure out how you can facilitate the work durations and the tasks in the time frame with the manpower you have. And then, but the last one is pulling it in a Gantt view. I mean, you got 4 incredible options with a lot of power in the task app options to really manage and drill down into your job.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Like a lot of people don't discover it for a longer time after, like they start using tasks on the Kanban, but they don't discover those different views. But that's a real game changer as well, especially if you're adding your dates and man loading your tasks. Those views are really a good source as well. Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and do one final poll question before we open the floor for our Q&A session. And there we have our quick question here. I just want to quickly see if it's been helpful to hear our customers and how they benefited from Fieldwire and the different use cases. Quick poll of yes or no. And this really helps me to bring you guys more relatable content here in our webinars as well. So just take a second to answer it. Awesome. Let me go ahead and close this poll. And let's get into the Q&A. There we go. So the first question we have here, and any of you can take this. Do you guys still use Bluebeam or Fieldwire handles all of your drawing markups?
I can answer that on my side. We definitely still use Bluebeam. Bluebeam's a lot more powerful as far as the detailing and allowing to illustrate on a PDF. But there again, the guys in the field don't have to have and need to utilize that. So we've mitigated how many Bluebeam licenses are required. So the field guys specifically use Fieldwire because that's the point where the document control starts and ends for the field practical information.
Makes sense. Ray, Ian, you guys use Bluebeam as well, or how has that been?
Some of the guys in the office who aren't in a project management role might use Bluebeam to estimate or, review, but I mean, that's about it. I mean, it's just kind of what they're used to. As far as job management, it's 100% Fieldwire. And I mean, Fieldwire is my job. I mean, without Fieldwire, I'm looking at a PDF with just nothing, just a PDF. So on our side, operational side, 100% Fieldwire.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel about the same way as you guys. We still use it in the office for more extensive kind of detailed things that need to be gotten into for internal stuff, but for everything for the field, it's Fieldwire.
Awesome. Thank you. The second question we have here, I think this is more related to you, Ray, because you guys do a ton of tasks. Considering the number of documents and photos sent and added to the tasks and project folders, how do you handle the storage capacity on like a superintendent's tablet or a phone? Do you guys have any storage issues or opening the app issues on the field when the project's
Not at all. I'm pretty sure the majority of it is saved in the cloud. The PDFs take up a lot of room on my phone. I've probably got 40 projects on there. But the technicians might only have 2 or 3 projects, and you can remove them from the phone and they're still in the cloud. So it's not like they're gone from your phone. All the photos, none of that is stored on my phone locally. It actually opens really quickly. And one of the big pros about this is a lot of these buildings don't have Wi-Fi signal. Doesn't matter. It operates just like you did have Wi-Fi signal. And as soon as you get into an open area with service, everything uploads without you even knowing. So if you have no signal, you can't tell if you're on Fieldwire. It works like normal.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Ian,
I would agree. I haven't seen the issue with it all.
Awesome. And Ian, do you guys have issues in loading plans on the site or like making markups, or is that fine as well?
Not at all. Yeah, seamless. I mean, we drop any plans we need to put in there. Happens pretty fast, and then any of the markups that are being done or any kind of communication done on either side from the field or the office is all up to date immediately on either side in the cloud.
Awesome. This is for all of you. I know we haven't touched much on forms. So for any of the panelists, do you use form capabilities in Fieldwire? If so, what type of forms do you guys use?
I do use it in the field while I'm out there if I don't have my tablet with me, and it works flawlessly on an iPhone.
Awesome. What type of forms do you use, Mark?
But they're all the ones we have in the field. Well, I do have some field crew that use Androids. I use an iPhone personally. Haven't had any issue with that, and I've not heard anything negative about the Android side either.
Mark, I think she's asking what forms that you use inside of the Fieldwire.
Oh, forms. I got you.
Yeah, like the forms module. Does any of you use the forms module?
Yeah, it's we've got a daily job form we fill out. We've got an equipment form, and we've kind of built them inside the Fieldwire basis system protocol, and it works flawlessly. You get great information.
Awesome. Ray, do you guys use forms at all?
I use forms for everything. Initial pre-construction meetings. Honestly, it's about as simple as it can get. It's one long text, and I type in meeting notes as we go. There's also change order forms, submittal forms, proposals. I create forms all the time. We had a theft on a project, and I went through and added forms for that. We use forms for timesheets, daily logs, material handoff. Sometimes we hand material to other scopes, and I mean the option to have them sign for it is huge, because they might not actually need that for 6 months, and then they call me in 6 months saying, hey, I need this now, and I have signature proof. Hey, I handed this to you complete with IP addresses, serial numbers, whatever it may be. So the forms are huge. I use them for everything.
Awesome, awesome. Ian, I know we've just discussed about forms a little while ago and trying to upload a form to use like fillable PDF instead of recreating the entire form. Have you gotten a chance to try that?
I have not had a chance to try that yet. I did. We are working on using a T&M form in there. I like what the other guys are saying about using them for things like pre-construction. But no, we haven't spent a lot of time on that. So I would like to explore that more though.
Makes sense, yep. Another question, this is for you, Ian. Question to Ian. What's the best way to update the shop drawings when we have a new revision? Upload the whole new set or swap the revised pages? Maybe can you walk us through how do you upload your new set of revisions?
I mean, to be honest with you, they're both easy, and I haven't had to update just a single page too often yet. I need to do that today, so I was gonna work on that. But you know, typically what I've done without knowing better, I guess, is just removed the existing one and uploaded the new one, and it's, you know, it happens, it works so quickly that that's not a concern to me. But I know that we can you know, just replace the page itself if needed, and that's, you know, one of the things that I think is the most valuable, because it's not always required to replace a whole drawing, right? But or a whole drawing set. So but yeah, the process is as simple as just making a revision in the system. I just don't feel that I have the expertise to you know, I don't know. It's a work in progress for me. This is, like I said, I've been in it for 6 months, so
Got it.
I still need help from you guys sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, like uploading revisions is like a very easy process. You just upload it, it automatically slips sheets.
Yes.
Mark, Ray, do you guys link tasks to these original plans? And what happens when you upload a new sheet?
Typically, go ahead, Ray.
Sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to interrupt. So I'll upload new prints. Maybe it's just me. Even if it's just one page that's changing, I upload the entire set, because I want the entire set to have ASI 2 in the
Right.
set.
That's what I've been doing, the same thing exactly. But I know you can use this version control to just add a new version to a page, right?
That's
So
cool.
that's, yeah.
And it's very helpful when you do the revisions. You can compare it to an old one, and you can actually see the red and the blue line diagrams or the blueprints, and you can easily spot what's been changed, as opposed to trying to spot the differences between a big page on, 2 big pages. You can just have a blue page, a red page, overlay them and see what doesn't match. There's your changes, there's your revision. So that's been extremely simple and helpful, actually, especially for change orders.
Mark, is this similar to what you guys do, or how is it different?
Yeah, it's similar. We always upload and use the version control so we can see what the history was versus the newest one. The nice thing about the system always puts the newest one on top, overlays them. The nice thing about drawing sets when they release, sometimes they're not always the same. The system is smart enough, it'll match the pages and tell you what's already in there. And if you want to have that document to become the new one, it is the most simple, easy process I've ever used in my life.
That's awesome. I think we have another question. This is for all of you, and we'll start with maybe Mark, you here. When you decided to use Fieldwire, did you have any pushback from your field teams? If so, how did you overcome that? And what were the concerns that may have made your teams hesitant to buy in?
I did. We were already on a system that was here previous to me. System was a little more complex, not as easy to use. It was always a challenge to get the crews to utilize it correctly. A lot of manual tweaking. Once we made the decision to go to Fieldwire and sat everybody down and showed them how easy it was to use, that was literally a 15-minute conversation or less. Once they touched it, felt it, and saw how it operated, everybody's saying, we're not going to go back to the other one. We enjoy the product too much.
That's awesome. Ray, did you guys have similar concerns as well, pushback from the field teams?
Initially, there was some pushback because there was no system. There was a large piece of paper that they looked at. So I think to them, it felt like we were going to try to micromanage when that's not the case at all. I think as time went on, they saw, hey, this is not a micromanagement tool. It's a way for me to be a better support for them, a better leader for them. When I get a phone call from the GC that says, your guy didn't do anything today, I can pull up Fieldwire and I can say, hey, my guy documented everything he did with photos. So once they kind of saw that this was a way to cover themselves and not as a way for me to micromanage, it went a whole lot easier.
Awesome. Ian, how was it with your team? Did you see any pushback as well?
Not at all. Every foreman I've gotten on board has told me how easy it is and how much they like it. I mean, it's like you said, it's a way for them to cover themselves. It's a way for them to keep me from calling them every day, asking them what they did and asking how many bags we sprayed or whatever it is. It's a way for them to keep themselves on track with what the goal is per area, and then it's an accountability tool for us, them, and the contractor we're working for. So
That's awesome.
Everybody's really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Mark, this is for you. You were talking about calendar out, or like looking at tasks on a calendar view. So one of the customers is saying, we recently started using our tasks for 3-week look ahead / scheduling. Curious what others are using for, or like maybe can you talk a little bit more about the scheduling options or things like that you use it for, like the calendar and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, we use it for every aspect of that job. We've got like the tasks, some of them are coordination stuff. So if it's timing stuff that we need to figure out the installation methods, submittal processes we've got it through. We even do our material deliveries through the tasks, as well as the inspections. So including, the rough in and trim out and every aspect of that job, if it takes labor and time and needs to be assigned to somebody to make sure that everything's pushing forward, we build those tasks into the system. That way it keeps everybody notified. Then if anything's, overdue, we can have a discussion on, why we missed it. Was there, something we didn't see or understand, or were we impacted?
That's awesome. This question is for you, Ray. Can you discuss how much time do you spend typically putting in all of your tasks for a project? can you talk about how you create your importer and all of that side of things?
That is a very loaded question. I don't know how long this meeting is. I am one that I try to simplify and streamline as much as possible. I've actually come up with a spreadsheet with formulas that kind of make the task for me. So I can say room 143 has 4 2-gang drops, and then I go to the next sheet and the tasks are filled out. I've got the name of the room, I've got rough in, trim, test on each drop, and then it's just a matter of copy and pasting. Without that, there's drag and dropping. So you can start at 123, drag down on Excel to 128. I mean, in the beginning, I spent a lot of time putting in tasks, but that time that I put in at the beginning definitely was worth the time I've saved at towards the end and while the project was ongoing.
Yeah, I saw your importer and it's really well set up. So that's amazing that you took some time to set that up. But once you set that up, like loading in tasks for projects becomes so much more easier.
It takes no time at all.
Exactly. That's awesome. Almost we're ending towards the, or we're close to the ending of this time. Any last words from the three of you before we end the panel? Yeah.
I would like to say that just the support from the Fieldwire team on your end has been awesome. Like as far as the ability to reach out and get questions answered or get features added or get clarification on how to use the product or anything like that. It's been real helpful to have your team at our disposal in that way. So yeah, that would be. I think it's a big issue with anything that we do is you know, having the resources available beyond just the product itself, but the team who's behind the product. So yeah, kudos to you guys on that. It makes it that much nicer to use.
Thank you so much for the words.
I second that 100%. Like I said, Arnaud is like a team member. I thought for the longest time I had his personal cell phone number. I mean, he just picks up, and then I mean, I can say, hey, I need to show you something. Can I share my screen? And he's right there. There's no hold time. There's no tech support. It's just, hey, Arnaud, it's Ray. How's it going, man? Oh, hey, Ray. I mean, we know each other. So that's extremely, I mean, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm gonna third that. I would say the support is well above par. Very unexpected on how easy and how flexible and just actually, like you said, talking to a live person, getting the real stuff and the information you need.
That's it. Thank you so much for those kind words, all of you. And that wraps up our Fieldwire customer panel for today. A huge thank you to our panelists here, Mark, Ian, Ray. Thank you so much for taking some time and joining us today for this panel and sharing your experiences and insights. As a reminder, the session is getting recorded and all the attendees will receive a recording of this session. And we have a quick short 5-question survey after this. Please take a moment to complete the short survey after the webinar. It really helps us to determine and improve these sessions and make them better for you. Thank you all for attending and have a nice Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.